For the delay.
And all three of us are here, but only two of us have working cameras.
Yep. Haley's camera has performance anxiety, so we will just have to look at the awesome icon instead.
Tell your camera it's okay, we can just cuddle.
Well, now you made it weird. Hello, people in chat.
Hi, people in chat.
We have a
Hi,
Sky
chat.
and we have a JA, definitely.
We always have a Sky. Sky
Yes,
is eternal.
Sky
and watches
is
over all of us.
ubiquitous.
I apologize for depriving you of Haley face.
My glorious massage.
We will attempt to make up for the lack of Haley face. I can
Yeah, we'll
sit
do
here
double
and
face.
hold Ludo up, sort of, kind of over there, and then pretend it's Haley.
I have stuffed dog meat. I don't know if that works. I have toy hedgehog. Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm not entirely sure what they are, but they have made you all blocky. And
Oh dear.
Okay, I think we're just going to have to deal with the fact that we're going to have tech issues today.
it's going to be techie. Well, non-techie. It's going to be.
Am I blocky? No.
Yeah, you're here. You're kind of robotic.
You know, hold on a second. Let me see if I can't hardwire my stuff to the router. That'll probably help.
Okay. And we have a Mr. Kiwi as well. Hello.
Hey, Kiwi.
So the plan today is discussing episodes 4 and 5. With episode 4 being the end of the first arc type milestone, because that's what they're doing. So we'd like to talk about leveling up, which I will, when Bit is back, hand over to Haley to discuss leveling up.
I might do that near the end.
That works too. We have
episode
totally
4.
discussed this beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
We are a well-oiled, smooth-running
we totally have like a whole, set list of topics.
Talking points, notes. Actually, I do have notes. I put them in my player's handbook.
Level 3. That is correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, and because I've been speaking about it to people, behold my new tech corner. It contains all of my tech, well, not all my tech stuff, but it contains my nerdery. We now have a glorious black screen. This is riveting.
We're scripted just like the actual show.
Yeah. Unfortunately, our writers have gone on strike.
I don't blame them.
That's our excuse. They were not happy with some of the requirements.
What? Now I have to carry the show with raw charisma?
You can do it. I have utter faith in you. Sorry, while this turns into bit spectator sport.
Has anybody been watching the Olympics?
No.
Okay.
We've got our next 2 medals. We got 2 bronze medals, one in snowboarding, one in skiing. They're only like we've only ever had one other medal in the Winter Olympics, so it's kind of like,
That's
yay,
cool.
go these little 16-year-olds who are kicking ass.
We got only the third, I think, of our gold medals outside of skating. Because that's apparently what we're good at. Did that
We
work?
we finally got a gold medal in curling.
Yeah, you beat Canada.
No, we didn't beat Canada in curling. That was hockey.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, no, but we finally beat Canada in I'm just going to turn that off. There we go. Is that better?
That's fine.
I worry about production value. God damn it, Sess.
I'm the one who shows up with production value. Actually, I'm not. Because I have a shitty not daylight lamp over there, and it really throws off the balance.
Well, I mean, basically, I just don't want to look like I'm anyway. Also, because I have to I hardwired my stuff in, but my cord is not quite long enough. So yeah, so I had to move everything, and now I'm on top of my Xbox One.
That sounds comfortable.
Oh yeah. But we hadn't ever beat Canada in hockey, which is really great, and we've never gotten a gold medal in curling, which is
There's some good stuff happening.
America.
Paralympics are next month.
Yes.
Yep. I'm really excited for those.
And then it's basically sports. It's like Winter Olympics, Paralympics, and then it's the Commonwealth Games. So I'm just going from one event to the next. I'm excited. Women's field hockey.
Didn't we watch that? I think it was a year ago, 2 years ago, Summer Olympics.
Yeah, we
watched
did.
the Dutch team.
I'm pretty sure that our teams were playing against each other.
Might have been. Yeah, might have been. Sadly, mine lost.
I know nothing of the Commonwealth Games. I pretty much sit out these things until Eurovision. So
Yes, because
I'm
yeah.
only excited because we get to play against Australia a whole bunch of times.
We should do a Eurovision watch-along party.
oh my god, we totally could with Gilb. He would be into it.
Yeah. We could have a Discord watch-along party.
Oh god. I mean, if you want to, people in chat, we could totally have a watch along for Eurovision.
You'd have the costume change drinking contest, the pitch change drinking contest, wind machine,
I'm
the
pretty
flat.
sure that I'm pretty sure this is weird regardless of what country you're from contest.
I think potentially Gilb is in. I think. Maybe.
I think he feels lukewarm about it.
Yeah, no, I don't think he wants to. I think he's
I
just being
can't tell if he likes
polite.
it. I know. I hate it when people are polite, but they don't want to do it.
Who do we think is going to be added into Eurovision this year?
I want New
considering it
Zealand.
was Australia.
I want
last
New
year.
Zealand because that would allow that
I want
little
New Zealand.
regional argument going on. We could complain about the fact that New Zealand always gives Australia bad points while Australia always gives New Zealand the pity points. Or the other way round.
It's because we're small. They might hurt us.
True.
Well, I just loved it when at the end of Australia's performance last year that they like turned around and like mooned the audience, and I was like, "That's what you get for inviting Australia, isn't it?" Every time.
Yeah. Now, Eurovision, I have only ever watched with friends or family who were into the whole ridiculousness. And the whole point is yelling.
European exchange students, and they were like, I can't believe gay people in this country don't watch Eurovision. And that's how that happened, and now I'm into it. I'm really into it. I love it so much.
I've never watched it.
Oh, great. We can fix that.
Yeah, I was like, get ready, because it is a situation.
You might be drinking at 9 a.m, though.
I mean, it's kind of like, how that is when you're hungover and you're like, I'm never going to drink again. And then 8:30 a.m. rolls around and there you are.
I mean, you say that like this is something new and unacceptable in New Zealand.
Apparently,
I wouldn't know. I've never known you to drink.
apparently, Kiwi is New Zealand's entry into Eurovision.
I support this entry.
Absolutely. What are you singing? Yes, yes, indeed, Gil. It's past 5 p.m. somewhere in the world.
Exactly. Always. At all
Always.
times.
Well, we shouldn't ever include Gilb in these things because we all know Gilb is like the chaos, it's Gilb is chaos elf or whatever. The DJ just thinks he is, but he's lawful chaos.
Yeah, chaotic lawful. Because no, that's not how it works.
Yeah, but Gilb is
Mm-hmm.
genuine chaotic.
Right, let's get this show on the road because I am sure everyone will be happy to watch us talk about everything and nothing except Critical Role.
Oh God, we're so behind on it.
Yeah. So
by the way, a quick side note: friend of the show, friend of ours, DJ.
yes.
His father recently passed away, and we all love him dearly. And he and his mother are currently going to go through a bit of a rough time, kind of during this. So, if you feel free to send him some love via the Twitter at DJ Spectre and just tell him that you're thinking about him, I'm sure he'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm fairly certain he doesn't watch, but if he does at some point watch, DJ, we love you. We're so sorry, and we are here for you if you want anything, if you need anything, or if you just want us to shut up and send you horrible jokes.
We care about you.
Please look after yourself
Yes.
because this is a tough time.
We care about you, you ornery bastard.
Yes. And there is nothing I can do to move gracefully on from there. So...
I'm Bitraptor, the queen of awful transitions. Right, so what were we doing? Episode 4 or 5?
Both.
Both, okay, right. So 4, what the hell happened?
Well, everyone was awful.
Was this before or after we put the 12-year-old into the headlock?
That was after, and then made it worse.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah, so it was just after the fight with Cowrie, so...
yeah. They attempted to... well, they didn't even attempt to be subtle about it.
No, they weren't. I do love, though, that Molly got a little bit upset about the whole Bo moving the mouth of Cowrie thing when Molly was the one that cut the head off the frog.
It's very hypocritical.
But
they kept getting the world's worst roles, too. That was, holy shit. I don't think I've ever seen dice rebel against people since the last time I watched Will Wheaton on Tabletop. But...
yeah, there were some interesting roles.
Really bad.
Yeah. But I actually liked that bit where Molly basically did what he had to do at that point. Everyone else was either didn't have the tools or couldn't do it because, at death's door, because Ford wasn't necessarily at his best. And I really get the idea that Molly does what is necessary. But when it becomes gratuitous and cruel, he doesn't like that. I think Molly is a very moral person in many ways. His morality might not necessarily be what we would normally think. He has a very strong sense of family. You can tell that.
Right.
His whole interaction with Toya was just, it broke my heart.
Yeah, and then you're like, God damn it, Bo, even though we've established at this point that Bo is an asshole.
Well, Toya was still out cold by that point, but the bit where Jester and Bo just carry the head, and Toya is awake by this point, and Molly's, I wanted to keep her, no, you're not going to keep her away from two people lugging a giant toad head.
The dire toad.
Yeah, and of course, Travis's response, we have just cut the head off Barney and showed it to her. Yes, the Barney who's been raising her. Just sit with that. And it's just,
lot of horror, a lot of unintentional horror going on here.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. And oh god, is this the one? Yeah, 4 is the one with Yasha, and then we lost Yasha again.
Yeah.
Who's just kind of like, no. I like to travel with people, but I like to travel on my own, and therefore I'm non-committal.
I have to do things. I have to say whether or not I can leave.
Well, and I kind of like that. Because I like in this one, and I don't know if they did this in the first Critical Role cycle, where they set the characters kind of by themselves alone at the table and sort of fill in some of this character background as they did with Bo. But it's also a thing that you get to know these characters a wee bit more. But I think it's also kind of exciting that they're doing stuff that everybody else at the table doesn't know about.
Mm-hmm.
It happened twice or 3 times in the last campaign, but only later. I think it was because partly tech issues, not tech issues, tech limitations, because when they started, it was literally a room with cameras. And
they were in somebody's basement, essentially.
Almost, yeah. Then they had 2 long tables opposite each other, and it wasn't as professionally done. As
it wasn't
now.
a studio in the way that it is now. Like there's a genuine Critical Role studio, I think, if I recall.
They were just working off the regular Geek and Sundry set originally,
and they now have a proper set of their own.
Yeah,
in the long ago times of 2015.
Yep.
But I like that, and as somebody who is kind of new at D&D, it's sort of exciting for me because I had no idea you could do stuff like that if you were that type of DM.
Yeah. Whispers, secret scrolling is also what some people call it. As a person or as a player, you want to clear it with your DM a bit, but you can absolutely secret scroll with your fellow players. Or with the DM. Some role-playing games lend them better to than others. If you've got things like political intrigue games, it works a lot better. A straight-up fantasy, low political impact, low personal impact almost, you may not necessarily have to do it.
Right, okay.
The secret post-it notes of mystery, yes, that's a very good point, J.A.
Secret post-it notes of mystery and intrigue.
There are also DMs that will take people out of the room if they have something separate to share.
Yeah.
Of like, I'm going to kill you.
Sometimes it can be literally, hey, I'm going to take you aside. Look really worried when you come back in the room.
Right.
Just to fuck with other players.
I would do something like hey, your father died. Just something like that. Just to be that way.
Okay. Bit
sorry,
is not allowed to DM.
That was terrible. I'm sorry.
I kind of want to watch you run a campaign now.
You have a terminal disease. Because of the mines you went through, you have a terminal disease. You're coughing up blood. You're not allowed to tell the other players. Go.
Some people do that. And things like that as a genuine... But you have to communicate that. You can't just throw that in somewhere. Because if I'm expecting a magical romp through some mines... You're
like, why am I dead? Like, it's kind of like playing Dragon Age 2, and then it's like, wow, this went dark all of a sudden.
Yeah. Always ask for consent. That's pretty
to
much
give
it.
Somebody a terminal disease.
Yeah. In D&D, at least. Or really, that's just a life lesson. Always ask before giving someone a terminal disease.
We learned this from Guardians of the Galaxy, that Star-Lord's dad is a total prick. Anyway.
Yes.
Multiple times we did.
Definitely multiple times.
From both series. Anyway. Tangent.
Tangent. Sorry.
But things about D&D that I'm learning. The other thing that the other question that I have is that in these 2 episodes, there was a lot of use of miniatures.
Yes.
Why would you use miniatures? When would you want to use miniatures?
That is entirely up to the DM and the players.
Yeah. A lot of people use them if it's definitely a dungeon crawl. Just because it helps everybody keep track of the map. The trouble
like
that
where
you run,
everything is.
yeah, and where any of the hostiles are, and you know what is in the room that is of potential interest that they could go and check out,
Right.
and all of those things.
I do see how that would interrupt your flow, though, if you were doing a storytelling thing and people get real married to, but I have to move 2 spaces.
Mm-hmm.
You would mostly use it within combat.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at Critical Role...
So that's why Mercer comes in and he's like, combat, here's my, miniature.
It still allows for role-playing in the quieter moments, but it allows people to see what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
It allows people to visualize things more.
Yeah. It also cuts down on some of the work you have to do as a DM. If they can see it there, then they don't have to ask, what can I see around me? They can be like, oh yeah, there's a desk over there. I'm going to go and search that desk.
Yeah.
So that's super helpful. I think one of the issues that you run into is that if you have a group that's like that, as soon as you put anything, if they're just like, oh, can you draw it for me? And as soon as you draw a map for them, they automatically think, okay, we're in a combat situation. So that's one thing that you can get into. I know of a couple of people who have had that issue with their group.
Yeah,
where they've tried to draw something just to give them a sense of where they are, but then
they're like, so we're going to fight. And it's like, no, I just wanted to show you that you're on a really steep ass cliff.
Yeah, and also important moments can happen. If you've got something like a map showing you where the city is and where you are, that gives you a bit more of an idea of how much travel to do. That will help them with planning. But part of that, people immediately think that maps mean, as Heidi said, maps mean combat. Apart from that, there's also a thing with miniatures that's really helpful because that.
Hi. Were you making that earlier in the evening?
No. This is not Maniac Mansion. I keep doing Mansions of Madness. It's a deep one. Now, if you know your Dunwich, if you know your H.P. Lovecraft, you will probably know what a deep one, a full deep one, not just a fish man, looks like. But if you don't, I have to describe a spindly looking creature with webbed feet and webbed hands with claws and fins, or I could just put this in front of you, hopefully painted, and give you a proper idea of the horror.
You're gonna go fight this guy. Okay, well, this is the worst version of The Shape of Water.
I can put you. It's someone's kink, but also I can put something in front of you. It's like you are fighting. You are in the lair of an adult copper dragon.
Right.
And you want to talk to them. Now, I can say, we are going to... This is you! Okay? Then there is the lair of the ancient copper dragon. And you kind of go, I'm going to talk to this dude. All of a sudden, there's something that size in front of you. It's not an ancient dragon. It's a shiny lobster. I don't have a copper dragon figurine. Fix this, internet. But yeah, it gives you a sense of scale. It gives you a sense of drama. A good DM can play with that.
That makes sense if you were a DM and you're like, you come upon this, mountain and so forth and so on. And as Gilb said, you can use tokens or paper minis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you could potentially have your little paper minis and then be like, and you come across a very large dragon and you pull your dragon in. I see it. I see the immersion of it. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, now I know.
There are multiple things you can do.
Well, and I've seen that in these 2 episodes with the miniatures, Mercer kind of does it for them in combat to sort of give them a sense of like, you're in an enclosed space. You can't do very much.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where you are behind and in front of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good thing, a good way of getting your players to actually try to solve what they're doing as a puzzle, rather than just being like, well, I cast magic missile against the darkness or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And as
I
DA
see that.
says, it's also really helpful with figuring out how many creatures you can hit with area spells
Yeah.
and things like that.
Yeah, that too.
Am I hidden? If I step around this corner, can I hide? It allows you to do things like,
Well, you have to
put
roll around a
obstacles.
stealth check, but
well, yeah.
It's also handy for
What do you
things
think?
like that creature has 3/4 cover, or
right.
you know, all of that stuff, all of the good combat-y stuff.
I like good combat-y stuff.
It also helps the DM keep track of those things as well.
Yeah. Talk amongst yourselves. I need to check what on earth is going on with my cat. Bear with me.
Okay.
Those cats.
Thanks to cats.
I
Where are
know.
my cats actually? Are they outside? I hope they're outside.
I don't have any cats. I have a pack of Tim Tams. Anyway.
Tim Tams.
Oh, yeah. Right. So what the hell else happened during this episode?
They do. Transported the head back. Then Ford stood watch over it, and then everybody went their separate ways to do their things. And we had a bunch of bad stealth rolls.
We had a wall-to-wall
arrests happening.
And were there any super exciting things that happened with any great character moments?
Episode 4.
Yeah, I can think of one off the top of my head, which was Jester, and they're waltzing in with the dead head, and Jester's like, "We're having a party."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Weekend at Bernie's, nice."
I really loved Molly's whole big brotherly attitude. He's trying to hide a lot of things, but that one didn't. That one escaped, so to speak.
Right.
Again, Caleb trying to be tough was,
Yeah.
bless him so hard.
Trying to comfort. Also trying to comfort Not about going alone.
Yeah.
Oh, not. And it's cute. It's cute how that's developed really, really well. That he and Not genuinely care about each other and so forth and so on. It's cute, and particularly the thing. And I think this is in episode 3. I apologize. I tried to rewatch everything before we went back in because it's been so long, and a lot of it ran together. But there is one bit where Not is casting spells in the field that Caleb has taught her, and Caleb is like, "I'm so proud."
Yeah, that's episode 5, I think it is. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's when they're.
Episode
Okay, I thought it was earlier.
Episode 4 is them mostly still in Trostenwald. It's where Not steals everything in the bathhouse.
Yeah, Not is pretty great.
Yep.
And they buy drugs off the...
Yes!
That was amazing. That was a great little moment. I don't know if Sam Riegel, if that was fully improv or if it was just sort of a thing of Mercer being like, "Yeah, okay, we'll go do it."
He goes along a long way with what his players are doing. But this was not necessarily something he planned.
No.
This was literally made up of whole cloth. It was delightful. And you actually see him go.
Yeah, you do.
It's
Where he's like,
what? Actually, this was a good episode for them breaking Matt Mercer, because there's of course also the moment where Not attempts to tell everyone that she was just there to that these ruffians had escaped and she was going to see what they, and then it's, you know, roll for deception. What was it? Was it with disadvantage? I think it was.
I think it might have been, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's just 0 and everyone loses it. Which is mostly funny because Sam played a really high charisma character last time.
Yeah.
And Not is just rolling really, really badly. It's adorable.
Yeah.
He's definitely gone out of his way to kill the memory of Scanlan.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's good though, because you have a brand new campaign. And I think it's kind of a little ridiculous to sort of expect the actors to do exactly the same thing all the time, because that's not the point of it, and that's not the fun of it. And I think it's great, and I think that's rather good. So,
yeah, and as J.A. Points out, the Ford and Yasha, the almost flirting.
Oh God!
And I'm sorry, you're gonna have to hand over your weapon if you want to come in. However, I think all of us are firmly on the Bo Yasha, on the SS Bo Yasha.
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many things where I'm just like, Bo is not straight. Like, you cannot convince me otherwise. Like when she first meets Dyron and it's just like, actually, I'm a woman. It's like, oh, sorry, I couldn't see any features. My apologies. You're very attractive. I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah. It's just,
Yeah, but that doesn't exactly denote her as gay, though. It just kind of denotes her as being semi-androgynous and big and barbarian-ish.
No, this was Bo. Yasha.
Yep, that's what Bo said to Dyron.
Yeah,
Right.
Yasha is...
Oh, right. Well, there you go.
I don't know, but it's just... I'm so happy. This makes me very happy. But yeah, it's just... I think everyone is so in love with each other's characters at the moment that...
It's rather good. It's really awesome to sort of see that, and to see that so quickly.
Yeah. And even Molly and Bo, who don't like each other at all, the players are really enjoying each other's characters. And that's really fun to see that grow. But yeah, apart from Bo's admittedly kick-ass
Away of the Cobalt
initiation
Soul
into
thing.
the secret society.
Oh, and
Not so secret society.
And just sidebar, Marisha Ray is like a fucking plus in all of that. Specifically that whole bit where she's like, "Oh, I have this burn on my butt from all this smoke, but you just blew up my ass." Like,
and I loved that interaction where you can just see them responding to each other, and Matt going, "Oh, that's how you want to play it."
yeah.
And
so they go into this thing where they beat the shit out of her and then they initiate her.
Yeah, and but also how he's legitimately excited about her rolling 3 really good rolls. So the 2 natural 20s in a roll and the natural 18. And he's legitimately excited for her. He's also legitimately excited for anyone else when it happens, even if it may interfere with his plans.
Partially, though, I think it might be because they had such shit rolls during this episode.
They did.
I mean, oh yeah. I mean, but there were a lot of good stuff, and specifically that whole thing of like the world needs assholes.
Yep.
And so she's part of a secret society, and it's cute, and it works, and it's really cool, and you get to learn quite a bit about what Bo's deal is, and that she's looking for her father. Right, if I'm recalling that correctly.
I think she might actually be trying to get away from him. She doesn't like...
Looking
There's
forward,
something weird going on with her family.
There's something there, definitely, and we'll find out about it shortly. But
I think it may be a case of she's been put in the monastery by her parents. It seems like they were paying for her education with the
I think
with the
Chester
Cobalt
might
Soul.
be looking for her father.
I think you're right. I think
I
I think I might be mixing a few people up.
but that is episode 1. I think that came up, so it'll
Yeah.
gets a bit.
I think
blurry.
you're right, though. I got messy with, like, I think she's looking for her father, or there's something going on. There's parental problems with both Jester and Bo.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how cute Jester's letter to her mother was, though?
Yes. Oh,
Very sweet.
please send more money.
And oh yeah, can you send health potions because all my friends are dying? Just as an aside,
there's no more money left. I spent it all. I don't know what happened. Please send
it to Zadash, biggest in love.
And
please send it soon. Love,
I feel like
Jester.
I feel like we've all written that letter, I think, at some point in our lives. That email.
Yeah. Or possibly less cute.
Just more like, oh, Mom, I'm about to get evicted. Right. Anyway. But it was cute. And so there's a theory.
Yeah.
There's a theory. That Jester is the child, and I think you know the one that I'm going to talk. Well, at least Haley does.
Yeah, I know which one.
That Jester is the child of Mary McGlynn's character, Tiefling character, right, in the original campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard that theory. I would love for that to be true. However,
I just want Mary McGlynn back on the show because she's delightful. Anyway.
I think that is a background that would have been nixed. Purely because in Alpha, not in Talks Machina, Taliesin actually mentioned that he had a very, very slight, just a very slight hint of a connection to the older campaign, and Matt nixed that. Which makes sense because you don't want to accidentally start tugging on that thread.
Yeah.
And
thus
breaking it for people who haven't had time to watch the first campaign.
Mm-hmm. Or who won't, because I know that I probably will never watch the first campaign because it's just too much.
Yeah.
And to kind of, and it's a Kingdom Hearts thing, kind of more the thing of like, if you have to play all of these 18 bagillion games to get a sequel, what's the point?
It is absolutely, and it's a friend of mine compared it to trying to read all of the extended universe for Star Wars. You know, it goes far, far away, far, far too quickly.
And the other thing, too, is that the extended universe doesn't count anymore, except for Knights of the Old Republic, so it doesn't even matter.
But in this case, the first campaign counts, but it's a standalone. It stands and falls on its own merits, and I think that's a really good thing.
I think that's the way to do it, and you can get a lot of storytelling mileage out of that too, which I think is great, and as they should. Otherwise, I think you're gonna run into that thing where the people who are going to be into it are the people who are going to be into it, and it becomes more and more gatekeepery.
Exactly, and I think they want to really avoid that, and they've tried really hard. I've heard there's some things that I've heard which have been asides between characters or just one-off mentions where if you're paying attention and if you know what's going on, you can go, that could potentially be a bit spoilery, but they move past so fast that I haven't heard anyone complain about it, saying that now they feel that something has been spoiled for them.
Right.
So they are trying really hard, which I appreciate.
No, I think that's great to keep it accessible, because you see it happen with Star Wars of like, there are all of these Star Wars fans now who are like, well, you're not a real Star Wars fan because you only like the new stuff and blah, 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 and you don't know all the extended universe stuff, so you can't call yourself a Star Wars fan. And I'm like, if you waltz up to a 12-year-old girl who is wearing her Rey costume and loves Rey to death, and you roll up to her and tell her she's not a real fan because she doesn't know all of this now non-canon extended universe stuff, you're an asshole.
I think legally we're allowed to kick you in the bollocks. I think that is actually
I would love it if that 12-year-old girl then kicked that dude's ass. Because that would just be fantastic.
I think there is actually a specific code of law that says that the 12-year-old can then, or just smack him with her awesome stick.
It's the think of the children law, and the byline is the children have to see him unpunched like this.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, you're an asshole. I had somebody tell me that, and I was like, and I literally told him, I'm like, you're a real miserable piece of shit. And he was like, and I was like, sorry, but you are.
Why would you do that? Why would you break someone's enjoyment? It's just,
I know, just so that you can feel more special. Jesus, get a cat. Get a cat or a dog or something. Anyway, but we haven't seen that a whole lot with Critical Role, which is part of why it's been such a delight to get into it and to interact a wee bit with the fandom in a way, because it's not so buried in all these things that you can't enjoy it. And it's kind of nice that the fandom at this point is fairly open. They still want more people to be into it, so that's great.
Yeah. There are arseholes. Will always be.
Yeah.
People who've got to feel special for their one thing.
Unfortunately, the type of arsehole that Critical Role attracts seems to be mostly rules lawyers.
Yeah. Yeah,
which is
that's
easier
why
to avoid.
Well,
in many
Haley
ways.
was telling me that's why everybody hated Marisha Ray last year.
What, because she broke rules? Or because she didn't know them?
Because she didn't know them.
Because she didn't know her spells. It was stupid stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember.
It was a combination of things, but it was because, you should know your spells better.
Yeah.
Okay, but, like, you have access to all of the spells and you get to change them at the beginning of the day. Like, that's so many spells.
On top of that, dude, come on. Like, really? You're getting on somebody for, like, because you're sitting here at home following her along with your fucking edition book? That's just douchey.
Yeah, but you always get those people, unfortunately. I will admit, and I have sat there with the older episodes, even though nothing, there was nothing I could do, and even now, if I watch an episode, there's nothing I can do. I can still sit there going, "Oh God, you could do," but if you do that, and but there's a difference between that and then going, well, you clearly don't know your spells, and you should have done this. That was horrible.
Well, it's kind of like armchair developers or armchair quarterbacks or armchair
role players.
Armchair keepers. They're in everything all the time. And we're here to say here at Role Perception, you're a jerk.
Stop it.
You deserve a lifetime of wobbly tables.
It's unnecessary. It's easy to sit there and watch something and be like, you could do this, or you remember that you have this. But when you sit at the table and you're playing and the stakes are a lot higher, it's a completely different ball game.
Yeah. It's harder to come up with all that stuff on the fly.
Yeah, exactly. I have forgotten half of my abilities during a game and then gotten through my turn and been like, oh no, I could have used that and would be sorted, but I didn't, so we're fucked.
Well, part of the fun of D&D is that with every campaign you learn something new. And that's why D&D appeals to me. And there you go. But sorry, we went on a huge tangent about D&D rules lawyers.
Yep.
And rules lawyers in general.
Yeah, and gatekeepers. Bad.
You're jerks.
No gatekeeping.
Yeah.
Do it.
The sparkly lobster disapproves.
You don't live on a rainbow bridge. You can't gatekeep anybody.
Oh. My sparkly lobster totally lives on a rainbow bridge.
I wasn't talking about your lobster. Oh my God, Sess. Way to make it all about your crabs.
No, I'm not making it about me. I'm making it about my lobster. My lobster has sensitive feelings. Don't hurt it. Anyway.
I've killed a lot of lobsters, actually, in my time as a person who worked at I worked at a seafood restaurant.
You're not touching my lobster. Okay,
the difference between me paying my rent and your lobster's feelings can stop.
Look at him, though. He's so cute. Anyway.
He's not as cute as... Yeah.
Yep.
Nope. Yep. Anyway, sorry, cute stuffed animal show and tell over.
There was the wonderful thing with the bathhouse, where Caleb apparently just washes this from the neck down, from the chin down.
None of this.
Yep, and not sprinkled some water on herself and eats cucumbers. and then nicks everything that
Steals
isn't nailed down,
everything.
and in some cases, stuff that's nailed down.
That was really
It's
great.
beautiful.
Oh God! And then there was the whole thing of with Taliesin, and it was just like, I'm honestly fishing for drugs. I have to be like
Yeah.
a lot of wonderful quotes of dealing D&D drugs, and it's oh man.
And Ford
Oh.
is already so tired of Jester's shit.
Yeah.
Where is she leaving the room? Yes. And you see her looking around, and Ford goes, "Don't put your hands in your pocket. Don't put my hands in my pocket." Okay.
I run around and move everything.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people have thought that Ford and Jester are like a thing because that there's a flirtatious thing going on, and I was like, that's not fair though, because like Laura Bailey, from what I've seen, her characters flirt with everyone all the time.
Yep.
So I don't think that counts. I don't read anything on that. And then also, was this the episode where Jester picked some flowers for? Not?
No, that's episode 5.
That's
Yeah.
sorry.
Episode 4 is no, it's okay.
Spoilers, I guess.
Episode 4 is where Not gives the flowers that she liberated to Yasha. And yes,
Right.
and Jester goes, "Don't I get flowers? Well, I'm not worried that you're going to kill me."
Yeah, you're less of a threat.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
That was
Jester
cute.
just looks at Not and just like the stone face just goes, "You don't know that."
Oh, yeah, but yeah, I mean, honestly, well, and then I saw the fan art, some of my favorite fan art, which was of Jester and Not picking flowers and giving them to Yasha, but like they write from Bo on them.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, the fan art has been wonderful and lovely.
Oh,
The
yeah.
fan art is wonderful.
Fan art is so cute, and yes. Anyway, is that everything that we wanted to talk about? Because I think the most notable thing is that everybody rolled stealth terribly, and
Except for
that
Molly.
they
Molly did an okay job.
and
Yeah.
that somebody choked a 12-year-old girl, and we killed Barney, and then on top of that, we bought drugs.
Yep.
And that's what happened in Critical Role.
And Matt's map for the
the map
for the continent.
Oh, man,
the map is
I missed the map. I don't
beautiful.
remember the map at all.
Then when they
But I'm
went
sure
into
you can buy
the
it. I'm sure
they
you
went
can
to
buy
the
it on
general's-
geekandsundry.com.
general's- yeah.
Yeah, actually, I think it's a
Um,
one-off item made
yeah.
by a critter.
That's really
Yeah,
cute. I love it.
commissioned
Mhm.
by Matt for
I
the
love it.
group.
It's so cute. I love it so much.
Everyone got so excited.
My heart just grew 3 sizes.
But yeah, no. Well, of course, there is the circus is now broken.
Right.
Everyone gets to leave apart from Gustav, who threw himself on that grenade. The circus
And
in a
also-
very small amount, in a very small sense, continues.
Right. Well, and also there's another thing that we skipped over, but it's important, is the life needs things to live,
Yep.
and Talison's never going to live it down.
Nope. But he did
Nope.
it on purpose. When
Yeah.
he said it on purpose, even though it was a stupid thing to say, because it's one of those faux meaningless statements.
Although it is kind of a brilliant thing to say to somebody who is perhaps suicidally depressed. Life does
Yeah.
indeed need things to live. That's, yep.
Yep. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie and say that there weren't silly things like that actually
That actually work
helped
and
for
help.
me.
Yeah.
Even though
Definitely.
they are ultimately not meaningless, but if you think about them, they become meaningless.
Well, the thing is, meaning is ultimately where you find it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like when people say, oh, well, if you don't have kids, your life is meaningless. And it's like, you're allowed to find meaning in anything.
Yeah, there's a difference between life needs things to live, which is a semi-profound statement that becomes rapidly less profound
The more you think about
the
it
more
and
you
say
think
it.
about it.
Yeah.
But it can mean something because you hang meaning on it. whichever emotion or thought that generates. Which is why I'm fond of it, but I'm also fond of the fact that they keep poking fun at it.
Deep thinking with role perception every Sunday.
Oh, Lord.
So do we want to pop into episode 5 because we're already about an hour.
Yep.
No, not 30 minutes in.
About 40 minutes in, yeah.
Oh yeah, then we should go because we don't want to go too long.
Nope. Episode 5 is where we learn more things. They're on the road.
They're on the road again.
Yeah, and
I
it's
mean,
basically
our
traveling
first-
and character moments, and then some combat.
Yeah,
at the end.
our first interaction between Ford. Ford asking if Bo is still jacked up. And then Bo gloriously saying, "I wouldn't say I won because I lost."
Oh, bless her so hard.
I know. I really want to cosplay Bo because I'm like, I relate to you the most.
Yeah. You have to.
I'll even learn a bow staff to do it. It's really good for building up your upper body. I found out.
It is.
It is.
One thing I did enjoy for this.
Someone who has Taiaha skills. Yes, it is.
Hey, I'm really good at not hitting myself in the face with things. I juggle.
Yeah, I don't because I'm really bad at not hitting myself in the face with things.
I'll teach you some blocks. It'll be fine.
I hope that's aimed at not me. Because no, thank you.
We'll all we'll do a critical roleception con and it'll just be all of us doing Tai Chi.
Yay.
Really slow, you can't hit yourself, Cess. It'll be brilliant.
I have previously walked into a bright pink pillar
It's okay. It's okay, Cess.
while I
Like,
wasn't even reading or anything like that. I wasn't
it's
even...
never too late, Cess.
Fair enough.
Yes. JA, it was in fact episode 5 was with the dream/vision sequence.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, right. Yes.
Which is where I want to talk about level up.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So if we want to talk about that, and then I'll talk about level up after.
Yes, please.
Yes. Gosh. Yeah, that was a moment.
Yeah.
I'm still blown away by how much that evoked. And it was only 5 minutes or 10 minutes or
And
whatever
it
it
should
was.
be noted that it's because Travis is a really good actor.
Yeah.
He's a
No,
really
yeah.
good actor.
He had no idea what he was doing. He was scared out of his mind, which I think also helped with his whole, you are being watched by you are drowning, and you are being watched by a giant eye, and an entity that wants things from you.
Yeah. Oh God.
He brought
and there's
the alienation and the fear and the loneliness. It really came across.
well, and then when the dream sequence ended as well, him kind of still being a little shell shocked by it.
Yeah. Oh man, he was playing that so well.
And there was a lot of great exchanges in that. But before we go into those, we should talk to Haley. We should talk to Haley. Haley should talk about leveling up.
Yes.
I suppose I should start off with Warlocky stuff. So, if anybody wants me to go into Warlock power stuff,
I don't know anything about this. Tell me.
Yeah, so Warlocks as a class, I mean, Wizards get their, Caleb's going to get his magic and stuff from study. That's where he's from reading books. So the more he reads, the more he's going to gain. Whereas Warlocks, generally speaking, get theirs from a pact with an otherworldly entity. So that's this giant eye that we see. So this is our first glimpse into that, and that's exactly why Ford has only got his powers recently. Because remember, he was being sketchy a couple of episodes ago about where his magic came from.
Right.
And that's it. That's where his magic comes from. It comes from this. It comes from that sword. So yeah, so really interesting. The thing that I like about the level ups this time around is that a lot of the characters have gotten their archetypes for their class. So every class gets an archetype, usually around second or third level. People like Caleb. Caleb had already had his, and we saw that with him turning the floorboards into iron, because he's the school of transmutation. So we saw that already. And then, of course, Jester being of the trickster domain,
Right.
which we've seen, we know. And so this we get to see the connection between, and it happened at the end of episode 4 with Bo and her whole fight, is that monks get their monastery tradition. So it's usually the way of the whatever. Usually
Right.
it's open palm or something like that you get in the player's handbook.
Yes, the way of the chicken feeder. Yes.
Yeah. With Bo, it is the way of the Cobalt Soul, which you can see because they've updated. If you're paying attention, they've updated the character stat sheet thing that they have that pops up every so often, every episode, for each character. So
Right.
they've all been updated with the archetypes or the paths that they've each chosen. So Bo got that, so Way of the Cobalt Soul, and also deflect missiles, which we saw her using brilliantly in the fight when it comes up later in the episode. And yes, Ford gets a pact boon for his warlockiness. And you see the Hex Blade come up and Pact of the Blade. So that is exactly why Ford is able to just, summon his blade. That's one ability that he gets with Pact of the Blade. So I just think it's really, really beautiful how Mercer managed to tie those, both gave them story elements for their chosen archetypes that kind of explains how those archetypes happen.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's yes.
Rather than
Right.
just, you
No,
leveled up and now you have this thing.
He's very good at doing that.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you're still here.
I am. It had a little. I think it's Chrome.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, Chrome is terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible.
But I'm not going to use anything else. I'm looking at you, Kiwi, in the chat.
Well, once you get used to how fast Chrome is, it's like, and how good the plugin. Anyway.
But
Shut up,
that
Seth.
was my.
Shut
that
up,
was
Seth.
No. I have a sneeze.
Oh, I thought you were gonna judge me, and I was like, no.
No, if you want me to judge you, I can, but this is just my sneezing face. Or my attempting...
Ladies and everyone, use Opera. No, I'm not gonna use Opera. Opera is
Oh man, I used to use
inelegant.
Opera.
Elegant is. It is an inelegant piece of anyway.
This is why you obey.
And the browser issues. Yeah, so level up in browsers. So from Opera we went to Firefox and then Chrome. Please continue.
And then we lost half our audience. All problems in life are caused. No, I'm pretty sure the majority of the problems in my life are caused by my refusal to grow as a person. All right, that's separate.
It's a different issue.
Anyway.
Leveling up.
Speaking
And
of
then,
growing as a person, everybody leveled up, so they grew as people, right? That's how that works.
do-do-do-do-do.
Do we want to talk about Not's arcane trickster thing?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. No, I like her arcane trickstery thing. I have an idea of sort of what it is, but I also understand, isn't it like unique unto Critical Role specifically?
Nope. It is.
No,
It is.
that is a standard player's handbook archetype.
Rogue archetype.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So it's when rogues get a little taste of magic.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I think I kind of know what this is.
Limited though, so they are limited in
Yeah.
the way that that wizards are limited,
Right.
but uh, mm, in many ways they're almost more sorcerer-like in that it's innate. So it's not like wizards that have to learn spells. Arcane Trickster is kind of, it's almost in the middle between something that's inborn and innate and something that you work on.
Right. Okay. No, that makes sense, and kind of the way that Liam is taken not in and being like, "Hey, you can know this and this."
It makes sense from a storytelling perspective, and I'm really excited to see
It's
where
really
this
cool.
is leading. It's just
It is. It gives them that extra connection too, which is amazing. I love
Liam's
it.
response, or Caleb's response when Not does and the hand gestures. Sam just doing the whole thing and making the gestures in the copper wire, and Caleb's response. Liam as Caleb is just and he's like I'm so proud, and it's just
Like, I want you to be my older brother.
pretty much, yeah. If I wanted a brother, I
Like
wanted him to be the brother.
He's like the ultimate. Liam is the ultimate older brother. It's like, how do we say team big brother? Boom, done.
Yeah, and he's also a dick to his sisters, as any
As
acceptable
all good
brother
big
is.
brothers are.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm an
I'll be
only
right
child.
back,
I don't know
guys.
anything. Bye, Haley. Well, I'm sad. Bay's gone. Life is no good. Sorry, Sess. You're great.
We can clearly no longer have a conversation.
Yeah.
You know, the way
Even though-
the way
we
Sam
do all the
does Tasha's hideous laughter
hideous
was
Oh,
yeah.
oh, that was amazing.
Yep.
That was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but and good on you and your arcane trickster guild.
It's going to be fun. I'm
gonna be
DMing
neat.
an arcane trickster for the first time,
Ooh.
so it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to derail everything. It's going to be awesome.
So there's the whole thing of Ford interacting with everybody while he's still sort of shell shocked,
Oh yeah.
and those little conversations he has with Jester, which is the greatest thing in the entire universe. Where
you
she's
think
like,
you're turning into water.
and he's like, "No, I hadn't considered that terrifying thought, but I'll add it to the fucking list."
The whole physicality of the two of them, and this is why I keep coming back to regardless of what's happening with Ford and Jester, Travis is madly in love with everyone at the table.
I mean, with Bailey, obviously.
yeah,
they're
well,
married,
of course,
but, yeah.
because they're a married couple.
It's
But
cute when you see them exchange like looks, and I'm like, couples goals.
yeah, it's really adorable to see how they're working together, and I like that they get a bit more of that interaction, and some of that bleeds through as well. He seems to, because he knows her well enough,
That he can do all these things.
yeah, he can see certain things that she's going for, and if she's got something in her head, and he can now interject instead of having to sit there like his previous character and just happening.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think it's also
go ahead.
they're sitting on opposite sides now instead of next to each other.
Yes.
So rather than having quieter sides to each other, they actually have to communicate with each other at the table.
Yes. Yes.
It is. Yes. Yes. Although I liked that exchange too, where it's just like, well, we'll put you in a jar if you turn into water. Like, we won't let you run in the dirt. We won't let you run into the dirt.
Yeah. And if I start sweating real hard, I'll let you know. And she's just, oh!
It was cute. It was
Yeah.
genuinely cute, and it was a great little exchange, and that was very good work on Travis's part of
Yeah.
doing that shell shocked, like, holy God, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Which lets
and
me
that's-
know if you had an otherworldly presence offering you power, it'd probably be the same.
Probably be pretty freaked out, yeah.
Yeah. I also like the fact that his accent shifted. I wonder where the Texan went for a moment.
Yeah,
He
I
went
know.
away.
I sort of see the. I wonder if that was a genuine thing or if he just like was so like into it that he missed it. I feel like it was a genuine decision that he made there. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, every time you return to that Texas accent, I have a knee-jerk reaction to punch you.
I think that's why he does it. Because you can see some people kind of twitching when he does when he says these things. Oh gosh, and Marisha's sorry, Bo. What was it? You taste like a seaman? You smell like a seaman?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And the entire table just goes, oh.
How do you even know that?
Well,
and Matt dies, and then
Everyone
he
dies.
his comment after that is just like, I'm so proud of my wife.
yeah, I've never been more proud of my wife.
Man. There's also the other thing too of what is the deal with Laura Bailey and donuts? Is that just like a thing that she does?
Well, she's fond of donuts.
This is why I think she's.
There is this isn't really spoilery, so I'm just going to say it from season 1. There is a moment where she had a plate of donuts as well, and Travis goes to reach for one, and she just smacks his hand away, and it's like, "Don't touch my donuts!"
Yeah. So that was gift for posterity. The thing is that she has carefully curated her donuts and her sweet things, and she doesn't like it when other people touch them. So
that's completely fair though, because I have specific donuts that I like, and I'm not cool with people eating my donuts. My roommates actually once shoved my beer to the back of the fridge, and they got frozen and therefore ruined, and I was rather upset because it was very nice beer.
Yeah, but that's just being a bad housemate. So, what else?
No. Oh yeah, it was that thing of like, my donuts aren't that old.
They were slightly linty. But this was actually quite a fun episode to show you how timing or even rolling can be the difference between having a social encounter or not.
Right.
Because the caravan that they discovered at the start, they didn't interact necessarily, and then when they did interact, the social roles were not high enough to convince them to stop. So that could have been something, not necessarily to fight, but that could have been asking some information, some world building, but it sometimes doesn't happen. So as a DM, he puts these things in place, and then it's up to the players and the dice on whether or not anything happens. And
that's really neat, and that's really I like that.
Yeah, and there was also, of course, Caleb using Frumpkin to investigate things, and Frumpkin rolling something like a 3 in investigation. So it was kind of wasted. But that gave us a glorious moment with Bo and Jester in a tree talking about pocket unicorns living in trees.
And now there is a whole bunch of fan art
of pocket unicorns.
Yeah. Have you ever turned him into a unicorn and not just going, he can't hear you, he's not there? Have you ever turned him into a snake? Have you ever turned him into a cat? And it's just
yeah, I think the unicorn one was last. That would actually be really cool, actually.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's my pocket hamster. Actually, if I had an animal companion and he was a hamster, that would be great.
Yeah, a tiny little horn.
He's extraordinarily useless.
Yeah.
I've seen hedgehogs. Hedgehogs is a good one for a familiar.
Yeah. I had one which was a weasel. Or it might have been a stoat. It was a tiny thing of the weasel variety.
It was weasel-esque.
And I named him Dog. Because
I know someone who's currently playing, and they have a bear as their animal familiar, and they've named him Sir Barrington, and he travels with top hat and monocle.
Beautiful.
Miniature giant space hamster, indeed.
Yeah, miniature giant space hamster. Right. So that yeah, a lot of little character moments and so forth, and a lot more combat in these two later episodes. There's a bit of combat kind of in the middle of it, if I'm recalling correctly.
It's all at the end. It's all at the end. It's all in Ashfield. I think it's Ashfield.
Yes. And they do the thing where they're fighting in the city streets, and they bring out the miniatures.
Yep. And it was Knowles. And we got to see Matt embody Knowles, which is an experience.
Delightfully hilarious.
I will never be able to do that. It's just the way he embodies them is just.
Well, I was really like appreciated it because I started learning quite a bit about what all of the different classes did from all of these little combat scenarios, and particularly I totally get now why monks are so wildly fun to play because they're like hardcore parkour, but also they hit things with a stick like it's.
Yep, and they can hide out of the way. They can duck. They can do deflect missiles. There are many things that they can do. It's a really lovely versatile class. Yeah, it's really fun.
No, and that was really neat. I learned a lot about it, and we also got into the thing where Jester gives Knots the flowers.
Yes. Oh, and we need to talk about Bryce. Bryce the non-binary character that we don't know.
Bryce Field.
It's just.
Hey, Bryce.
I am in love with Bryce. I want to see more of Bryce, or at least more of characters like Bryce. Fortunately, Matt does include compared to everyone else, a significant portion is LGBT. And I am definitely appreciative of that because it's just these people exist in the real world. So I'm taking Bryce and I'm running with them.
No, I think that's great though, and it's interesting, and it's a cool thing to kind of have. It adds flavor to your world. It works.
Yeah,
and it's nice.
And it makes people feel welcome. I retweeted an article. Which was specifically about that.
Man, here.
And there was actually something I saw. Someone sent flowers to the set, I think to the set.
That's really great.
To basically say thank you for
for including us.
Well, yeah, but that's Again, we've said this before, but representation is so important. I already love Critical Role. If this were when I started watching, I would already be predisposed to like it because it's D&D. They are people that I enjoy in other things. But this specifically would have made me feel incredibly welcome. And it still makes me feel incredibly welcome. So... yeah, long may it last. I, in a quite selfish way, hope Bryce becomes a loved NPC that is just going to appear occasionally.
No, I think we all hope that. We all hope that.
Well, yeah, episode 5 had some really lovely character moments.
Particularly the 9 thing, and then everybody just turned into Rammstein.
9!
And A+ hyena laughs.
Yes, hyena laughs were great. And also, oh man, the bit at the end where all the Knowles are leaving, and both Molly and Not just go, fuck that, we're following. And you see how quickly it can turn on a dime, and it's just they were both out within one attack.
Yeah.
And it's a level of peril that we've not been used to for a very long time. And it's not one that you encounter as such at higher levels. There's still stuff that can take you out, but often you have slightly more warning.
Yep.
In this case, it's just literally one attack can do it.
It's something that if you watch any of Matthew Koval's videos, he says that once you start getting into those higher levels, death becomes a minor inconvenience. At the early levels, death is death. Like, you're gone. There's nothing anyone in your party can do about it. Yeah. It's tear up your sheet and start again.
And people cry when they do this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to happen. If anyone is going to die at low level, will choose to roll, because there is a significant emotional. Well, from a game perspective, from the rules, it is a significant monetary investment. It costs. You have to find a temple, you have to find someone who can do it, and you have to have enough money
to have somebody
pay
die.
them to do this. Now, if you have a cleric of high enough level, they can do it themselves, and then yes, it becomes trivial. It becomes fuck, you're dead. Which is something that Matt has actually built around, because his idea is to have it be a story, so he makes death have an impact.
Of course. Gilb also mentioned that Caleb sells the book back.
He does. Yes, he does. I also want everyone to be a recurring character.
I liked that guy where he freaked out and and the
punch Frumpkin.
I know, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, did Frumpkin die?"
No, Frumpkin has at least the hit points of 2 kittens, or maybe 1.
Frumpkin is presently a sparrow.
It's 2 hit points.
Presently a sparrow.
Yeah. So there are just things there that you can play with as a DM, and if your characters are invested, then you can make death mean things. And in his case, he what he did was, people, if I'm not mistaken, in the book it's literally just make a roll, and if it passes, you're back, you're good.
You could probably, if you had a player character who you set up and you're like, hey, and you guys had a discussion and they're like, yeah, I'm cool with dying this campaign because I'm such an old man, as J.A. mentioned earlier in the chat. You could do a thing where it's just like, all right, so at this point in the story, you're very close to death, and I'm going to have you roll every time it's your turn to see if you're dead yet.
That would probably be a bit quick, but you could have a check every couple of days every week, but that depends on your player, that depends on your DM.
Yeah.
And you are talking about a campaign where you have a base, most likely. You have got someone who's probably retired and no longer actively adventuring. So are they going to die in the background, or are you going into an arc of, we will be doing political stuff while we wait for Fred over there to kick the bucket? But there are ways you can play with it. And then the question is, do we want to resurrect this person when they're dead? If someone wants to die, then no. Matt has some ways of dealing with it where death has more of an impact, but going into those would be a slightly too spoilery for the first campaign,
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, and I've seen people die in the first campaign where somebody turned themselves into a fish and then they hit the rocks below and died.
Yep.
Yeah. Marisha, spoilers, I guess.
It only lasts 5 seconds.
Exactly. So it's just extremely funny though the way that it happens.
Yep, it's still my 20 my
It's
favorite
something that
20 minutes of the entire first campaign.
it basically just gets worse and worse as it goes.
I hurt something laughing. It was that bad.
Right. But that whole thing of the bookkeeper just being like, "Oh, sales are final," and he continues to eat his porridge.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Mercer does his NPCs really delightfully.
Oh, Matt
and
Mercer NPC Watch is one of my favorite things. So yeah, that is episode 5.
Right.
Not much has happened. We've had, we see fun things like they have level 3 stuff that they can now do.
Yep.
Apparently,
Missiles, UFOs.
Jester's spiritual weapon is apparently a lollipop.
I love it.
Caleb continues to be panicked about fighting. By hiding behind a wall, jumping out, shooting shit, and then hiding again, which is an absolutely sensible way of going about this.
Yeah, and Bo continues to beat the crap out of people and do sweet ass monk shit.
Yeah.
Not climbs through a burning building.
Yes. And sits in the middle of the burning building and it's just like, this is fine.
Yep. Yeah.
Excellent fan art of that is out there as well.
Excellent use of your memes, Sam Riegel. Mm-hmm. Excellent use of your memes.
Yes. And we get to see
10 out of 10 memeing.
We get to see Ford do a bit of strategizing. Travis gets to apply his strategy a bit,
right?
Which then also goes out of the window.
I was about to say it doesn't last too long,
but he does get things like he can control someone. He can, I think it's dominate, and he basically has one gnoll distract another gnoll. So everyone had their moment in which they made the fight go their way, which was really good.
I won't lie, I classically zoned out during the fight like I always do. Yep. I probably tried to watch the episode, the fight in particular, like 3 different times and I just couldn't. It's always going to be a thing for me. So if you hear me going quiet in any of these episodes that we do, when it comes to any of the fights, that's probably why. I'll tune in and out. I just can't do it. I can't focus on it.
No.
What you're saying is I take extra notes on the fights.
I remember things that I liked in the fights.
I have notes about the bludgeoning lollipop and this is fine and
well, and it's not quite like the Kobolds and Kobolds and Catacombs episode where there was a lot of fighting in that, but it was extremely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like to the point where, what was it? Liam had like a gigantic, like elven made mousetrap.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
That rings a bell.
Yeah. And then like
still
Jennifer Hale died halfway through the middle of it. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm also still very sad about the little kobold going, "Ooh, candle." With the candle being out.
Again, this is why I want to play my half-orc barbarian tax accountant, because he could go and find them guilty of not paying taxes and take the candle as back taxes. It's fucking foolproof.
You not take candle.
Like, I take candle because I'm with the government.
Okay, I
mean, it would work with lawful characters, sure, but I don't think that kobolds fit into that. Yeah, but I don't think that kobolds are gonna.
I would, yeah.
You would not be lawful good at all.
No.
Or evil. Actually, a lawful evil accountant would be adorable.
I'm like, no. You understand. I tricked him out of at least 12 silver pieces. Because, convenience fee.
That would not be lawful.
No, but it's evil, is what I'm saying. Could you be
The
lawful
two
evil?
the two work
That's
together.
true.
The
It wouldn't be a
lawful evil
convenience
is
fee. It
following
would-
the rules.
It would,
Even
yeah, it
though
would be
the
that I
rules are
found some
evil.
sort of tax code. Like I'd walk into a cellar and they'd be like, "Oh, well, I have to do this and this," and it's like, "You're not paying taxes on this business, are you?" I can
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah, it's things like that. But you wouldn't necessarily break the law. You'd find like heck to find a loophole to make sure that they pay more. Whereas
But it
potentially-
would be like a thing like of like, I know that this is illegal and I can do something about this, but
But yeah, there are certain things that. Anyway, yeah, brain. Nope,
right.
Mhm.
Sorry.
that's okay.
As it turns out, we're a bunch of people who just don't care very much for the fighting.
Yep. We meet Masa's dwarf, who is a delight and refuses to look at anyone. Apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Smart.
Yep. The next episode is also mostly fighting. Sadly.
Yes, but get Carrie Payton, sorry.
No. That's episode 7. That's this week.
Oh,
Episode
God,
6
we
was
have
the
to
week
wait so
before.
long.
We're so behind. I reckon we just have we're probably going to have to do a double episode next week as well.
Or we could race through episode 6 now. It was mostly fighting in the
I
mind.
haven't seen episode 6.
No, that's fine.
I'm like, before
I
you
have
go
seen
into
it, but I have like half a page of notes. I
Yeah,
need to
no, I'm
rewatch
joking.
it.
I'm joking. Watch the face of
Please.
panic.
I'm like, well, you guys can do it, but
No.
No, I couldn't, is what I'm
skip
saying.
out. I'll just skip out. Cess can talk about it all by herself if she wants to.
Yeah, that would be adorable, and I'm fairly certain everyone's
hosted-
waiting for that.
I hosted it and watched it, and while we were watching it, I said to this guy, I was like, I have not taken anything in this episode. So I definitely need to rewatch 6.
Yeah, no, me too. So we can totally
See,
do...
lawful generally means following a set of rules, Sess, not the law.
Yes, but if you combine that with evil, you are usually in the employ of an evil empire. Though you are an evil tax accountant. You can also be a good tax accountant. You don't
You can just
kick
be a
puppies.
lawful tax accountant who's just like,
As the AA
This is
says,
not
an,
a
or an
code.
organised crime group with a strict code of conduct.
Yeah, I mean, also,
the orc
if
tax
you look at
accountant
my-
mafia. The orc RS.
I had a lawful neutral monk who basically didn't care about any other rules except for the rules of her monastery, and that was it.
Yeah.
Nothing else applied to her. She had no other moral code. So, when we came across a kid who was clearly being, abused in the tavern that he worked in, it was in the Underdark. This is why these things happen. My character just walked away.
Yep.
She did not care. I was upset about it. She didn't care.
Ah, yes. The character does something else than what the human would do. The player would do.
That happens to me a lot.
Yep.
I often play characters that are not me.
Well,
It's fun.
yeah, that's the point, I would hope.
I think our challenge is still to... Haley and I talked about it, having one where
Kiwi
we need
is
to
here
do
in that
either low intelligence, low wisdom, or low charisma, one of the 3 personality stats, so to speak, because con, strength, and dex are fairly easy to play role with low stats, but any of the personality-based ones, I don't want to have a low charisma. I don't want to have a low intelligence or a low wisdom.
I
I
would have
tend
quite a bit of fun with that, to be honest with you. I'm just kind of like, oh wait, is it there? Because I'm not playing D&D to play as myself. That's boring. I'm myself all the time.
Yeah, no, exactly.
yeah. I mean, it's less that I play it's less that about that as I just play characters that tend to have a different moral code than me, which is really tough when you're in a moment and you're just like, okay, what would my character do? Because I'm just
My
like, I know what I
character
want
would
to do,
12-year-old.
but that's not what my character would do.
My character would beat up this 12-year-old girl.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
easier when you're just like role playing the other stuff, but if it's
Also-
in the moment and it's a tense moment thing, it's hard to know. That's why I have to give the Critical Role crew so much credit, is because they know.
Well, they're
They
actors.
just
Yeah.
know.
They
Um,
are their characters in many ways, and I mean that they embody their characters in many
Mhm.
ways.
I'm putting a lot of money on at cons. Marisha Ray is going to get a lot of people being like, "Will you knock this ice cream out of my hand?"
Oh, that's a kink for someone. You know it is.
Is it? I would have just been like, I just kind of want you to be really mean to me and knock this ice cream out of my hand.
Oh yeah,
And,
no,
yeah.
I know what you mean, but
But I know what you're saying, and you're like,
you know
"No, that's
exactly,
for
you know
someone."
exactly what type of people they are. The people who stand up and ask the GLaDOS voice actor whether or not she could tell them that they have been a bad test subject.
And I mean, she probably does, because God bless her soul. But
yeah, but there are
everybody
some
sits
things
there
that you
going,
should maybe not display your kink in public like that.
"Well, I mean, it wouldn't be a kink for me. I'd just be funny."
No, I know what you mean.
Like for me, I would dress up as not. I'd roll up to Sam Riegel and I would undo my cloak and pop out an enormous amount of Sharpies onto his thing, and I'd be like, "Sorry, I stole all of your sticks."
Which I still need you to do because that would be amazing.
I got to do it before somebody else thinks of it. I have to tell you.
Well, you have now mentioned it on the internet.
Yeah, it's now out there.
In broad daylight.
And also, you know, on this madly, wildly popular vodcast, which is watched by tens of people.
A grand total of 5 people.
No,
And you guys are
I
lovely.
love
all
you
of
all. I am grateful. I'm grateful that you
Thank
come
you
and
for
watch
supporting
this.
us.
See it,
I'm not
this
quite
weird
into
little
Mr.
thing.
Kiwi Fruit, though, and his proselytizing of the opera web browser.
No,
I get it every time we play D&D. So Kiwi, for those of you who don't know, is my DM. So
We are accepting of other browser cultures. Oh, that was a good face.
Sorry.
That's why I do it. Anyway,
Is it just going to become a thing where you say things just to watch me make faces?
oh yeah,
I know that I'm expressive, but come on.
yeah. No, that's the whole point. No, but yeah, that was episode 4 and 5. Final roundup. Anything that we've missed? Any favorite moments? Any? Ooh, I hope they do this. I hope we learn something about XYZ. Or are we happy that we've talked about most things?
This is terrible. I'm just waiting for Mary McGlynn to reappear. That's really what I'm waiting for, and it's gonna happen.
it'll happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Just because the first and only episode of Critical Role that I watched all the way through was later on. It was with her, and she was summoning tentacles, and I was just like, "Wow, this is really wonderful."
Yep.
I have no idea what's going on.
Surprise hentai. I think that was actually a phrase that one of them used.
Oh God.
Yeah. Higher level
Winter's
warlocks.
Crest, the horse.
Sorry, the what?
Winter's Crest, the horse.
WC the horse.
WC.
WC. The horse. There we go. Yes, I remember
the horse
this.
called WC.
Oh God! Apparently, Guild is like, is Bit Raptor making faces already on Tumblr? Oh God, you probably could, and Tumblr would probably really like it.
Yeah, probably. Knowing Tumblr.
And
Maybe
also,
not. We're not
Opera.
famous enough yet.
Opera is unwieldy, Mr. Kiwi Fruit. I can't. Anyway.
A little bit.
Join us next week when Bit yells at Kiwi a bit more about the lack of usability of Opera.
Can you get Word Open Office to run from your browser with Opera? No.
Someone's tried this. It's not me. Anyway, I think we'll call it a night because we
You
are
shouldn't be
getting
paying for
loopy.
your word processor! Anyway.
Oh, one quick thing that I have in my notes that I think bears mentioning given our audience and everybody else that I care about who loves puns so much, but puns are level 3. Let's all remember that.
God. Oh, sidebar also. Please come to our Discord and send us the fan art that you found because
Yes.
we love your fan art. We are down with fan art from all corners of Le Tumblr
Fan
and
media. Fan
Le-
media
Le-
as well. GIFs.
Le Internet.
I will take your fanfic. I will take the
will
fanfic that
not.
you find.
I'm good.
I'm not quite that far in the rabbit hole. I have not delved into the fanfic. But I support anyone who has.
I'm
I mean,
Chloe
don't throw explicit stuff, but more check out this fan writer. That would be grand.
Yeah, send us your fan art, and we I think we should absolutely start launching a favorite fan art of the week feature on our show.
Oh, I did notice that they have started doing that.
Oh yeah, well it's us.
On
It's
the
our favorite.
on the reel, they have
Yeah.
they've got like a little
but it's our
ribbon
favorite fan
icon.
art.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying they heard us from the very beginning and they stole our idea.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. They have. Oh. That actually did happen this week. Fiona Staples?
No.
She is the artist for Saga, which is a comic. Which, if you haven't...
Isn't one of those things that I need to absolutely get into because I like Discworld.
If you like sci-fi comics, I recommend checking it out.
I do like sci-fi. You know me a little too well.
No, I recommend checking it out when it's probably on offer at Comixology, the first volume.
Well, I mean, the question I would have is, can I get it in a trade paperback? Because that's how I take in my comics.
Yeah,
it really is.
You probably want to go to your your local comic store, and
aka Amazon, so I don't overpay.
That also
Sorry.
works. Yes, no.
Sorry, local comic book store. You lost my business when you asked if I was lost.
Yes, that's a very good reason not to go to your comic store again, because it's not your comic store at that point. Check if it's available, reasonably priced. But anyway, Fiona Staples, artist of Saga, which has won many awards. She did a Mollymawk, and I think Taliesin might have had a heart attack.
Probably.
Wonderful.
I would
That's
say
wonderful.
So.
Yeah, and it is a glorious thing. I will retweet it off the Roll Perception account.
Just got open mouths when she was asking for Wonder Woman, Gilb? Are you kidding me?
It's Wonder Woman. How do people know?
Yeah. Also, a huge movie just came out. Oh my god. See, this is why I don't like comic book stores sometimes.
That's why I love the resources that say queer-friendly, that list queer-friendly comic stores.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, Cess, if you ever visit my humble little corner of the world, so take you to my favorite donut shop, which has a gender-neutral bathroom and anti-R-word donuts. They theme their donuts. They did Harry Potter-themed donuts for J.K. Rowling's birthday.
Ah.
And they also did it-themed donuts. Like, they're wonderful.
Ooh, I am
and
intrigued.
They do rainbow donuts for Gay Pride. They're wonderful. They're absolutely
intriguing.
Wonderful.
I definitely am going to.
They are the most. List. They are a punk rock donut shop. Anyway.
That's amazing.
They're great.
Right. I believe that we are now well and truly off track, and I think it's time to end this for the evening, because I have to work again in the morning. Sadly.
Oh, I have to go and get shots tomorrow morning.
Yay! Good for shots. Flu shots? Whatever shots. Doesn't matter. Get your vaccinations.
It's my D-tap. It's my D-tap. And I also have to talk to somebody about my migraines, but that's a separate thing.
Anyway, before we go off track even further, that's it. That is episode 4 and 5 discussed. Next week, we will be discussing episodes 6 and 7 in one go, where there is a lot of combat in the middle. And
so that we're all caught up.
Yeah, and then hopefully lots of character moments. And, of course,
Carrie Dayton.
Yes, the lovely
Cyborg.
Carrie. The lovely Carrie that's going to be...
Cyborg.
Yes. So hopefully we will see each other again next week. We are, for the foreseeable future, going to stay on Sunday evening UK time until things change with job-wise and things.
Let's continue this. I'm going to be off on Sundays, so.
Okay, that's
all right.
brilliant.
Anyway, let's not talk about this on stream.
Exactly.
But same time next week, everybody.
Exactly. We will see you on the Discord. We will see you on Twitters. And we hope you have a lovely week.
Yes, hopefully next week you will also see me.
Yes, we may have we may have a visual representation that actually moves.
Indeed.
Speak to you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.